What's going on, everybody? Scott Lennar back here all by myself. My dad's at work. First off, before I get into my predictions for the week, I just want to say how happy I am that DeMar Hamlin's seeming to be doing very well in the hospital right now, and thoughts and prayers are with him and his family right now, and the entire Buffalo Bills fan base and the entire organization. So with that, let's get into my predictions for this weekend. I'm going to start doing some college basketball predictions now on the show now that college football is basically over. Let's start off with tomorrow's games, UConn and Creighton. UConn is doing very well this year. I'll go with UConn to get the win. I think UConn's looked good to start the season, ranked number 4 right now in the country. I'll go with UConn to get the win. Next up, Texas and Oklahoma State. I will go with Texas. I think Texas has looked good to start the season as well. I will go with Texas on the road. Next up, Missouri and Vanderbilt. I will go with Mizzou to get the win. Missouri, this is a team UCF should have beaten earlier in the season, but it is what it is for that one. I'll go with Missouri to get the win over Vanderbilt. Next up, Kentucky and Alabama. I'm going to go with, unfortunately, Terry Jewell. I don't think Kentucky wins this week. I'm going to go with Alabama to get the win here. I think Alabama is one of the better teams right now in the SEC, so I'm going to go with Alabama to get the win here. Next up, Duke and Boston College. I'll go with Duke. I think Duke's done very well without Coach K to start the season. I'll go with Duke here. Next up, Wisconsin and Illinois. I'll go with Wisconsin to get the win here. I think Wisconsin's been playing very well in the Big Ten to start the season, so I'll go with Wisconsin to get the win here. Next up, TCU and Iowa State. I'll go with TCU to get the win here. This is a game I might want to watch with UCF moving into the Big 12 next season. So I'll go with TCU to get the win here at home. Next up, Tennessee and South Carolina. I'll go with Tennessee. Tennessee's looked very good this year. So I'll go with the Vols to get the win here on the road in Columbia. Next up, Xavier and Villanova. I'll go with Xavier. I think Xavier's done very well this season. Again, next up, Washington State and Arizona. I'll go with Arizona. One of the perennial national championship contenders over the last couple of years. I'll go with Arizona to get the win here. Next up, Syracuse and Virginia. I'll go with Virginia. I think Virginia's played very well this year. So I'll go with Virginia to get the win here. Next up, Delaware and Charleston Southern. I will go with Charleston to get the win here. Charleston's looked very good this year. 3-0 in the Colonial. I'll go with Charleston to get the win here. Next up, Kansas and West Virginia. I'll go with Kansas. I think Kansas has done very well for Bill Self again this year. I'll go with Kansas to get the win here. Next up, Kansas State and Baylor. I'll go with Baylor. I think Baylor's done very well again this year. So I'll go with Baylor to get the win here. Next up, Arkansas and Auburn. I'll go with Auburn at home. I think Auburn's a little bit better than Arkansas is, especially at home in Auburn. I'll go with Auburn to get the win here. Next up, UNLV in New Mexico. I will go with New Mexico to get the win here. New Mexico is 14-1 right now, doing very well. I'll go with New Mexico to get the win. Next up, Santa Clara and Gonzaga, two of the best teams in the conference. I'll go with Gonzaga to get the win here. Now into Sunday games. Let's look at those. Next first up on Sunday, Indiana and Northwestern. I'll go with Indiana. I think Indiana's done very well for my buddy Kurt Esser to start the season off. I'll go with Indiana to get the win here over Northwestern. Next up, Ohio State and Maryland. I will go with Ohio State here. I think Ohio State coming off a rough loss last night to Purdue on a last-second three-pointer. Next up, Houston and Cincinnati. Give me Houston to get the win here. I don't think Houston might not lose the conference game this year. I'll go with Houston to get the win. The number 2 ranked team in the country. I'll go with Houston over Cincinnati. Like I was just saying, Purdue and Penn State. Purdue number 1 in the country right now. I'll go with Purdue. And my non-top 25 game of the week, UCF at home, taking on SMU on Sunday afternoon. Should be a great game. I'll go with UCF to pull this one out. I think UCF's a much better team than SMU is right now. So I'll go with UCF to get the win here at home against SMU. Now into the national championship game Monday night in in SoFi Stadium, a beautiful stadium out there in Southern California. I'm going to go with Georgia to win the national championship this year. As much as I would love to see TCU winning for the Big 12, because I am now a Big 12 fan, if you didn't know, with me, UCF going into the Big 12. I would love to see TCU winning for our conference, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go with Stetson Bennett and Georgia to get the win here, but I think it could be close. I'm going to go with Georgia to get the win here over TCU. Now into the NFL games for the weekend. No Thursday Night Football last night because of the new schedule. So let's get into my NFL predictions for the final week of the regular season. First up, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs heading into Las Vegas. Take on the Raiders. 4:30 tomorrow night on ESPN. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to lock up the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win here on the road in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Next up, the second of 2 NFL games tomorrow is it'll be Josh Dobbs and the Tennessee Titans heading into Jacksonville to take on Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. Give me Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars to get the winner. I think the Jags have been playing much better recently than the Titans have. So I'm going to go with the Jags to get the winner at home over the Titans. Next up, the Bucs heading into Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Tom Brady does start this week. I don't know how long he'll be in there. Probably about a half, I'd say. He might play about a half, the first half, and then Gabbard might play a quarter, and then Trask might play a quarter. We'll see. We'll see what Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles want to do with that. But I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to get the win here. I don't think Tom Brady wants to end this season under 500, and I don't think that'll happen this week. I'll go with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get the win here on the road in Atlanta against the Falcons. Next up, the New England Patriots heading into Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. A very emotional day in Buffalo on Sunday with the Damar Hamlin stuff happening. We'll go with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to play very motivated and they win for Damar Hamlin on Sunday. I'll go with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get the win here and make sure that the Bengals have to go to Buffalo in a couple of weeks for the divisional round. I'll go with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get the win here at home over the Patriots. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings heading into Chicago to take on the Bears. Sorry for the interruptions today by my mom sneezing, but that's all right. Can't really control that. I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings to get the win here on the road. I think the Vikings have been playing much better recently. I don't think the Vikings are a Super Bowl contender right now because of how bad that defense is. But I think they're good enough to beat the Bears this week. I'll go with Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings to get the win here on the road in Chicago against the Bears. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens heading into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Give me Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals to get the win here at home. And make sure that they do not have to go to that coin flip that the NFL has been talking about if the Ravens do win this week. But I'm going to go with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals to win here at home over the Baltimore Ravens. Again, another interruption. I'm sorry for my dog whimpering over there. This has been a week of interruptions here on Scott's Waiting Sports. Sorry for this. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts heading in, hosting the Houston Texans. I'm gonna go with the Texans here. The Texans have been playing very well recently. Even though they've been losing games, they've been hanging around in games that they shouldn't be. I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans to get the win here on the road in Indy against the Colts. Next up, the New York Jets heading into Miami take on the Dolphins. Tough pick here. I'm going to go with Mike White and the New York Jets to get the win here. I think the Dolphins don't have a quarterback that they like this week. Mike Glennon just got signed by the Dolphins earlier this week, but that's not going to matter. I'm going to go with the Jets to get the win here over the Dolphins. Next up, the Carolina Panthers heading into New Orleans to take on the Saints. Tough game here. Neither team has anything to play for this week. Just to make my NFC South predictions absolutely perfect from what I did in the preseason, I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Saints to get the win here and finish in second place in the NFC South. Put Carolina in third and then Atlanta in fourth which I predicted at the start of the season would happen. I'm going to go with Andy Dalton and the New Orleans Saints to get the win here at home over the Panthers. Next up, the Cleveland Browns heading into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to get the win here and take the last spot in the playoffs. I think Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers will take the final spot in the playoffs here. I don't think the Dolphins or the Patriots are going to win this week. So that opens the door for the Steelers to make the playoffs, and I think they'll take advantage. I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers to get the win here and send the Steelers back to the playoffs for the second year in a row. Next up, Justin Herbert and the Chargers heading into Denver to take on the Broncos. Somehow the Broncos are favored in this game. Don't know why. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert and the Chargers to get the win here. I think the Chargers have been playing very well recently, and I think they want to keep that momentum going into next week, when they're probably going to have to go to Jacksonville next week to take on the Jags in the first round of the playoffs. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert and the Chargers to get the win here on the road against the Broncos. Next up, the New York Giants heading into Philly to take on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts expected to go this week. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles to finally wrap up the number one seed in the NFC South. Just got a notifier that DeMar Hamlin's doing some more positive stuff, so that's great news. I'll check that after I'm done with the show. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to get the win here at home over the New York Football Giants here. I think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles know they got to win this game to lock up the number one seed in the NFC, and I think they'll do just that. Give me the Eagles to get the win here at home against the Giants. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals heading into San Francisco to take on the Niners. Give me Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers to end the season off 13-4. I'm going to go with the Niners to get the win here at home over the Cardinals. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams heading in to Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks to get the win here at home and put themselves in a potential playoff spot. I think they'll be the leader in the clubhouse for a little while there. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks to get the win here and then hope for a miracle on Sunday Night Football. I'll get into that in a minute here on Sunday night. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys heading in to Washington to take on the Commanders. Give me Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, and the Dallas Cowboys, who could still get the number one seed in the NFC. But they need a lot of things to happen for them to get that number one seed. They need the Niners to lose and the Eagles to lose this week to get the number one seed in the NFC. I don't think that happens. I don't see either one of those teams losing this week. I'm going to go with Dak, Zeke, and the Cowboys to get the win here on the road in Washington against the Commanders. And make the Cowboys come down here to Tampa next weekend. I don't know what day that'll be for the wild card round, but it should be a great game. It'll either be Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. We'll see what happens with that. The NFL will probably announce that on Monday or later this week. Now the final regular season game of the season, Sunday Night Football. It could be a win-and-you're-in situation for both of these teams. I don't think so, though, as it'll be Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions heading into Green Bay and Lambeau Field to take on one of the hotter teams in the NFC right now. Maybe the hottest team in the NFL right now. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to finally lock up a playoff spot. I think they take the final spot in the playoffs. Give me the Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to get the win here at home over the Lions. And that will do it for this episode of Scott Swinging Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back here next week with another episode of Scott Swinging Sports, and I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott Swinging Sports. See you later, guys.